Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day 2 of Women Unleashed. How are we feeling after yesterday? Because yesterday was incredible. We had so many amazing conversations around so many incredible things. Tell me in the chat, how are you feeling? What's shifted since yesterday? Tell me all of the breakthroughs, all of the things that have happened and shifted, just even mindset wise. If you're like, you know what? Feminine intuition, like we're here, we're doing the thing, and I just feel different. I feel like things have moved. Let me know in the chat. Good morning, my loves. And also on the replay, just DM me on Instagram. Like as you're watching this, just like real time DM me. I want to hear all of the things, and I want to welcome you to day 2 of my birthday party, of the potty party. So Growth Gang, you are here, and the reason I created this for you. Also, let me know you can hear me in the chat. I've got my mic on today. Just let me know you can hear me all right as well. The reason I created this for Growth Gang is because you've been here with me through it all. Like through it all, from the very, very start. The podcast has been the space where you haven't just gotten a quick, like, here's 2 tips on whatever. You've gotten the behind the scenes. You've gotten what's actually moving my thoughts, my life, and of course, all of the juicy educational stuff as well. But I was like, I want to make Growth Gang even bigger. Like moving forward, I'm like, Growth Gang, there's something so special about the podcast because just me and you being together for a longer period of time, that's just like, I don't take that for granted. Like, I'm honestly just so honored to be able to do that with you guys because you guys are amazing and you're so ambitious and you're willing to do what's required, and not a lot of people are like that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being in Growth Gang and doing all of the things. I'm just in a little love bubble, I think, at the moment. Nikita, my mindset has shifted in the most positive way, and I'm so thankful for it. Oh, that makes me so happy. You are so, so welcome. Yes, can hear you. Amazing. I'm so glad. Welcome, Trinity. Welcome, welcome. P.S. Happy birthday for whenever it is. Thank you, my love. It's next Tuesday. I'm so excited. Yesterday and this morning with stories and posting, I was flowing, felt good, didn't seek any how do I do this or what should I post about. So I just went with what I felt like talking about. Yes, 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 yes. That's it. Right there, Brie. That is just incredible. And you know what's so funny? Like you said yesterday, it's like stripping it back because when you start, it's like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? Let's add on all these different layers of stuff. And then when you strip it back, it's like, what do you want to say? And it's like, whoa, that's like the simplest thing in the world. Like it's just you. And what's so funny is that people find that so hard. And isn't it so interesting? Because if you're in a social setting, or even like say, okay, this is the perfect example. Say you're sitting down for dinner with your partner, your kids, your friend, your housemate, your whoever you're sitting down for dinner with. You're sitting down for dinner, you don't stop to think like, oh, what should I say? Or like, oh, how do I respond to that question? You just go. Like you just do it. And you don't overthink it and you don't think, well, how are they going to react? And you don't like, okay, let's just hold off for like 3 weeks until I figure out what to say. You're just you. And what's so funny is that so many people split themselves and their business apart. They're like, okay, well, over here I'm me, and over here I'm in the business. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, you are the same human in both. You're not your business, but you are the same human in both. So it's like, how come you're all of a sudden in business? It's like, whoa, what do I say? I feel like a robot. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I say? How do I get them to buy? How do I, like, what do I do? Back when I did consultations with brides, that used to be the biggest conversation in my world. It was like, well, what do you say? What's the magic thing? Like, I have so many people be like, what's the magic sentence that you say to people to get them to buy? And I'm like, I'm just so real. Like, I just have the conversation. And the more you can do that, you'll just find that things feel so much better. like so much better. And what's really cool too is that this is actually an amazing opportunity where you get to go, okay, well, what do I think? What do I stand for? How do I want to present myself? How do I want to position myself? Like, what do I want to say? What language do I want to use? Like, who the fuck am I actually? And that's why it goes so much deeper than just the strategy, because you are so much more than just the strategy. And when you can actually share that, especially online, you're not only going to get more sales, you're not only going to build your brand, but you're going to get the most aligned human beings in your world, because they're not buying based on the price or the offer or the deliverables. They're buying because of you. They're buying because they're like, I like this chick. Like, don't you want clients to buy from you like that? I know I do. I just want my clients in because they're like, I just love you. I just want in. The rest of it, we get to figure out. Right? It's like, it's massive. It's huge. Being able to leverage you and your authenticity, massive, huge. All right, are we ready to jump into day 2? Just put a yes in the chat if you're like, yes, let's go. Let's do this. I'm so freaking excited. I was literally doing notes until the second I clicked record and like let you guys in, because my brain was like, I have so much to give them, but I was also like, Lil, just like reel it in for a sec. So let's jump into it. I want to give you a little breakdown of my life up until this point, because there are so many moments where I've had to become unleashed, where I've had to become a bigger version of myself. And there's also been moments where I've been at rock bottom, like actual rock bottom, like the bottomest of bottom you could find. I was down there. That was me down there. And what's so funny is that people make themselves so wrong for evolution. And this has been the biggest lesson for me over the past 6 months, year, like accepting the evolution of your existence as a human, and more importantly, as a business owner, as a female, is the most powerful thing that you can do. Like accepting it. So in 2016, I finished school, and in 2017, I moved to Newcastle, which is about 3 hours away, and I started uni. And I moved in with a bunch of people that I'd never met before. I was in a town, city, I don't know what you'd call it, a place where I didn't know a single human. Like, whoa, crazy, like crazy town. I was 18 at the time, I believe. Also, this timeline might be a little bit like give and take. I was trying to like remember in my brain. I went to uni and it was a thing called creative industries. And it was just this random new course. Mum is a teacher. All of my teachers at the time were like, you go to uni, you get a degree, you get a job, you work until you die. Like that was the thing. Like put a yes in the chat if you're like, that was my life at school as well. Like parents, teachers, everyone's like, you either go to uni or you have a gap year. That's it. That's what you do. And so I applied for creative industries because I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I actually don't know what I want to do, but I know that I'm creative. So I'm going to go do this thing. Hated it. Had no idea what it was all about. I don't think they really knew what they were doing. Also lived in a house with people that I didn't know. And I also didn't have any friends in the area because I just moved there. I was fresh 18. I had pretty much no money because I'm fresh 18. I've just come out of school. And so I wasn't like signing up to like the gym, or I wasn't really like going out all that much. Like I did here and there, like uni life, but nothing really. So it was just me at my house with people I didn't know. And they weren't the most outgoing, friendly, let's hang out kind of people. They were, I'm here to study, see ya. So there I was, 18, moved out of home, hated it. I got a job at a hotel doing hospitality work. So I would literally work until like 2 a.m. I ended up leaving uni before I had to pay anything. And I was just working for like, I think 6 months roughly, working from sort of the afternoon till like 2 a.m. roughly on like weddings and things like that, just being a waitress. And while that was like, whatever it was work, I hated my life. Like, I can't even tell you, I was so depressed and so anxious. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And I still had some friends back where I live now in my hometown that I grew up in for most of my life. And so I call mum and I'm like, I am actually depressed and I need help. And I was like, can I come and move home? And I don't know what my next move is, but I can't be here. Like I'm so unhappy. I have no friends. I have no life. I'm working stupid hours. I hate it. I'm so unhappy. And I packed up all my stuff, being like, I'll just move back in with mum. And I drove all of my stuff home, and she was like, I'm putting the house on Airbnb. You can't come home. And that's a whole other thing in itself that I'm going to leave for life stories. But basically, they were putting the house on Airbnb, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And I couldn't go to my brother's houses for whatever reasons. And so I was like, what do I do? So I stayed at home for like, I don't know, maybe 2 nights or something. And while I was there, I got a job at in hospitality. Just messaged this random place and I was like, I need a job. I went in for an interview, got the job. So all of my life up until that point was in my car. And I went to my first shift and I walked out to my car, and I know some of you have heard this story before. And if any of this is like, well, landing, or I don't know if you resonate with anything, let me know in the chat. But I got out and I got in my car, and you know how after work you get in your car and you drive home? I got in my car and I went, fuck, where am I going? I was 18, maybe 19. Can't remember at this point. And I was like, where am I going? And what am I doing? My whole life is in my boot of my little black Peugeot that was breaking down every fucking 2 days, where the windows slid down and I'd have to go like this to try and get them back up, and it beeped like crazy and it didn't work, and my whole life's in the back of my car. And so I drove to my best friend's house and I walked in the door and I said, is Brooke here? And he was like, she's not here, she's at her boyfriend's house. And I was like, fuck, what do I do now? And I just started bawling my eyes out. And it was her dad and her brother who are like, I owe them actually my life. And I said, can I please stay here? And he was like, of course you can. Like, come in, here's the spare room, or you could stay in Brooke's bed or whatever it was. And I ended up sleeping in my best friend's bed with her for like a couple of months, maybe 6 months. I don't know. It's very blurry. And it was rock bottom. I had at that point, I had no money. I had nowhere to live. And I just gotten this new job in hospitality, like nothing crazy. And it's so funny because in those moments, I knew that it was fucked and I was at rock bottom and I had no idea where to go, what to do. And I had not a whole lot of support other than that family, which, like I said, I owe my life to. And even though like I knew that, when I was in it, I wasn't really like aware of that. You know, when you're in it, you can't really see it. It's like you're too close. That was me. I was like so close to it. I was like, this is just life and we'll just like keep doing things. And so I got a job at a florist, with a wedding florist, and at a flower farm, and I was getting my hands with flowers for a little while. And then I moved to Wollongong went to uni again, hated it again because there was a whole lot of stuff going on outside of work and yeah, and uni. There was a whole lot of stuff going on. So I was like, I cannot actually do this right now. So I left uni again. So I went to uni twice. And while I was down in Wollongong, same story. I was so sad. I had no friends. I had no life. I ended up just getting shitty retail jobs. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had hardly any support. Like I lived with my auntie and I was so grateful for them, but lost contact with a lot of friends that I actually moved home for, and like toxic relationships. And I was a fucking mess to say the least. Like the Lil you know now was not the Lil then. And I remember I would sit in the mornings before sunrise. I would sit on the edge of the headland watching the sunrise at the beach. And I don't know how I got onto it. Oh, yes, I do. At Brooke's house, her dad was very into personal development. He was a personal trainer, and he was listening to Tony Robbins. And at the time, I remembered my dad used to listen to some tapes in his car, and I was 99% sure it was Tony Robbins, right? Remember the signs we were talking about yesterday? Interesting. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. He was listening to Tony Robbins. And then when I moved down the coast to Wollongong, I was sitting there watching the sunrise and I'd put Tony Robbins in my ears almost every single day from what I can remember. And at the time I was just like, let's just listen to something and watch the sunrise and then go to my shitty jobs with no friends, and I'll just go out and party and that'll be my life. And that was literally my life. And then I moved back home again. A room came up for rent in a share house, and this was now 2019. And this was the year that I met Tom. And this was rebirth. So that was fucked, to say the least. 2016, 2017, 2018. I've never been, well, I have once maybe, but in my adult life, never been deeper in a hole than I was then. Then it was rebirth time. I was working with a few florists. I was working at Bunnings and I met Tom. And Tom went away to Europe for 6 weeks on a boys' trip. We were together for 6 weeks and then he had a boys' trip for 6 weeks. Like, how's the timing? And while he was away, I was like, let's just play with some like, I don't know, let's just play with some flowers or something. And so I was kind of playing with flowers. I got a job at a cafe and I became a florist, basically. I had a girl who was getting married at the cafe and she said, can you do the flowers for my wedding? I said yes. She told me to start an Instagram. That literally started my first business, which ended up being the most insane business ever. So I started this Instagram page and I was like, let's just like have a cute page and post some flower stuff. So for 2020, yeah, I was actually getting some sales. I was doing the dried flower thing. I was doing a few weddings here and there, but I was still working full-time jobs and I was sort of just existing. Like, I'd met Tom, like new relationship, like things started to look uphill. Right? Things started to get better and I was just feeling better. I made some friends. I found some cool jobs and it was good. But I was kind of just like, just going through the motions. Then in 2021, I was like, well, I can actually do something here. Like, let's take this seriously. And so it was COVID times during this period, might I add. And I was self-taught, like I didn't go to TAFE. I'm not qualified as a florist, self-taught, never done business before. So I was like, let's just start posting some stuff because everyone was focused on flowers. And I was like, I got nothing better to do. I've got no flowers in front of me. Let's just start posting some content. It's COVID, we're not working. So let's just like have fun with some reels. Haha. Let's just create some funny little reels. And I popped off. Like, I can't even tell you how much I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a plan. I had hardly any past clients to leverage, but things started actually blowing up like crazy because I got my head in the game and I took it seriously. Now, in this shift here, I want to remind you of yesterday where I said how I had to start seeing myself as one of the top dogs already. And that's exactly what I did. I started seeing myself as the top dog. I was like, oh, okay, there's something here. Like, I could do something with this. Oh my gosh, I could actually work for myself. And then everything goes into lockdown. Okay, I'm working for myself. Right? Crazy. And I was like, how would I move if I had to move like them? Like me with them. And so I ended up going from, I think it was roughly 10 bookings to like 55 bookings of like sort of mid-range clients, some dream clients, some still like not so dream. And I was fully booked as a wedding florist. I didn't want more than that. That was me. Like, I was like 55 is solid. Like, I'm good with that. So then it was 2022. It was my biggest year in business from that first initial stage. I ended up signing a 12K client, I think it was first. So I was averaging like the 5K range, signed a 12K, like just literally doubled. And all I was doing was posting content and looking at me behind the scenes. That's what I was doing, just talking about stuff. Then I ended up starting my coaching business as well within this time because I had a lot of people who were messaging me being like, oh my gosh, this content is crazy. Like, how are you blowing up? How are you doing this? How do you do that? And so I created the separate Instagram and I started what was Flower Ed. And that blew up like crazy. Like crazy. And so all of a sudden I had two multi-six-figure brands that were insane. Like a team, a warehouse, 10K client average, 50 people, like 20 to 50 to 400, 500 people in my spaces, in my containers. Like, it was wild. It was so incredible and it was the best it's ever been, and working at the best venues and had the best team in the world, and it was crazy. Like, it was actually everything I'd ever dreamt of. Because back here in the rebirth section, I started writing down a few goals. Could be cool to like have a team one day, maybe. It would be cool to not have to work out of a garage. Like, that would be cool. Like, I wonder what it would look like to make a lot of money. What would it look like to have 10K in my bank, 50K, 100K in my bank? Considering, don't forget, I was at rock bottom just the year before. And little by little, we grew and it ended up being the most insane world. Bought my first home that I'm currently in, and it was the best. Then I was like, I've done everything that I wanted. What now? Remembering that those goalposts are always moving. And so I was like, well, what do I do now? I was like, all of a sudden, unfulfilled. I was like, whoa, I actually don't think I want this anymore. I don't want to have two brands where I can't give my all into both. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this isn't me anymore. I'm done. And so I started destroying it all. I stopped taking bookings in the wedding flower business. I deleted my 15,000 follower Flower Ed Instagram because rebirth. I was like, I'm ready for new. I'm ready for different. And I said, my people will come with me. My humans will come with me. And they have, because you're here. I was like, what if I just took control of my life for a second and I just decided what I wanted and I just went and did it? Like, remember, I was in a commercial lease. It still had like 4 or 5 months on it. I had a team who was so in love with being in my team. Like, I had a brand that people were expecting to be more successful and grow even more. Like, what do you mean you're closing down, you're stopping? What do you mean? Like, it's the best it's ever been. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's like you wait until everything is the worst it's ever been to stop it. But what if, even if it's the best it's ever been, it's still not right? Because I had to make that decision for me. It was the income provider. Like, it was the biggest income provider out of the two. It was the biggest brand out of the two. It was the thing I worked on for 5 years, and like, blood, sweat, and tears, I can't even tell you. Like, Tom put his heart and soul into it as well. That, like, there's a lot of external pieces there that I had to say, I'm putting me first. A lot. And it weighed heavily. And I'm still in it. I'm still in it because there's still responsibilities in that business that I have to take care of. And it's not as easy as just closing the shop door and saying I'm closed, right? There's a lot of other moving parts, and I'm still in it. And so all of a sudden, I'm no longer the florist, right? Identifying as the florist. I'm no longer the two multi-six-figure brand owner like I am. I've built that 100%, but I have to start shifting my identity from, well, this was me, but where am I actually going? Right? There's a huge shift that has to take place there. Okay, well, now I'm no longer the flower coach. Well, who the fuck am I? Wait, what do I know? Wait, what can I do? Wait, am I actually good at what I'm doing? Wait, is anyone actually going to buy? Oh my gosh, no one knows I exist anymore. Oh my gosh, I don't have the status anymore. I don't have the street cred. Oh my gosh, I don't have the 10K deposits just falling into my bank account every week from brides. Interesting. That's a lot to hold. That's a lot to hold. And that's not even the heartbreak of like, holy shit, this was my life and my world and I built this for 5 years. Like, what am I doing? But I was like, you know what? I want to take control and I want to be unleashed. I'm like, what does that look like? Okay, well, I make decisions for myself. Okay, done. Because I knew that I could hold it. I knew that I could hold whatever was getting thrown my way. And let me tell you, it's been crazy, like crazy behind the scenes. And I've still showed up every day. And I still post and sell every day. And I still serve my clients like you wouldn't believe. And I still believe in me. And I still trust in where I'm going. And I still leap bigger. And I still take courageous action. And I still lean into mentorship. Like, duality gets to exist. This has been the hardest 6 months in business ever. The hardest, the most confusing, the most what the fuck is happening, the most holy shit, I don't want those challenges, where I've had to just be like, you know what? I surrender and it's happening and I trust it and I can hold it. And now I get to teach you all of my wisdom. Like, how beautiful is that? So 2025 is loading. 2025, I believe, is going to be my best year ever. My best year ever. How are we feeling after that story? That's like my life. Jump in the chat. How are we feeling after just that little, here's my journey story? Heartbreaking, can relate to this so much. You must not be far from me on the South Coast. Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You inspire me so much. I don't take that lightly, Nikita. That's huge. Thank you. What I want you to really notice in this and remind yourself of this is that you're a creative and you're an entrepreneur and you're a human and you're a woman. Like, just accept the evolution. It hasn't actually looked like this, despite what some coaches might say. For me, I'm like, whoa, this is what it's looked like. And I'm like, isn't that just existence in itself? Because every time I've been at rock bottom, that self-trust is just like skyrocketed like 400%. And then here again, like when I've had to rebirth again, like I feel even stronger. I've got even more grit. I've got even more ambition. Like I'm even more devoted to who I'm becoming. I've got even more audacity. I've got even more courage. So while you're trying to question and avoid and deflect all of these hard moments, I want you to know that all of those hard moments come right before your biggest breakthrough. The biggest ever. So if you lean into it, that breakthrough is just going to be filled with so much knowledge and so much wisdom and so many upgrades of who you are, which is a really beautiful thing. What you've done is amazing. The self-trust is incredible, Brie. Self-trust is number one. I want you guys to jump in the chat. When have you felt unleashed? In small moments, in big moments, in your day-to-day life? When are you in those moments where you just stop for a second, you're like, I feel power. Like I feel power. Or I feel my most authentic self. Like I want you to just sort of brain dump. They can be the silliest, smallest, biggest moments, habits, things happening. Like when have you felt unleashed in the past? Where you're like, I can do anything. Like I can do anything. I don't feel blocked by anything. I just feel like free. I want you to jump in the chat and let me know. What moments make you feel free and unleashed, where there's no constraints and it's just you being you? Brie, giving birth was so powerful. It must be the most insane thing. But also that feeling when you dive into the ocean and it's cold and you feel alive. Yes. We can all picture that. Like, yeah. Buying my own investment property at 23, traveling Europe solo at 19, living on my own after a terrible relationship, then meeting my now husband, the birth of my daughter, completely natural after a long labor, Trin. That is huge. Wow. It's so cool. What I want you guys to realize in this, and keep typing if you're typing, keep thinking if you're thinking, but what I want you to really realize is you felt it before, which means it's even easier to move towards becoming unleashed. So many people think that that feeling is like you have to wait for it to come. But if you guys just closed your eyes in the morning and you felt into that feeling, you can already start your day being on the frequency of being unleashed. Like on a very practical, actionable level, what if every morning you took 5 minutes, not even 3 minutes, and you just closed your eyes and you just picture one of those moments? You'll move so much differently throughout the day. Going full time in my bizbri, even though my family still often see it as a hobby, huge. Proving them wrong by just doing me. Yeah. Massive. I want you to think of other people in the world. Could be friends, family, someone on the internet, someone famous, someone small, whoever it is. What does it look like when you're like, fuck, that's cool? Like, oh my gosh, she's just like doing her. Like, give me some examples of what that looks like. When you see someone and you're just like, holy fuck, like, that's so cool. Nikita, feeling unleashed, deciding to give my business my all, trusting it would work out, even though there was plenty of evidence stacked against me. All the moments, big and small, where I've had to do the thing scared, and that epic power feeling when you trust yourself. I want you to tap into that every single day. Every single day. Because sometimes it's like, wait, how do I feel that? What do I have to wait for? You actually just get to tap into it by reminding yourself that you already are. Like I said yesterday, there's nothing external of you that you need. An unleashed woman external of you. What does that look like? I'll give you an example for me. When someone is doing something without giving a fuck about judgment, it might be that she's speaking her voice online. It might be that she's wearing a certain like type of outfit and she's just like doing her. I'm just like, that is so cool. And you can feel it, like confidence, freedom, effortlessness. Yes. Constantly in her power, trusting herself, carrying herself with no fucks to give. Yeah. Huge. So good. All of that stuff, you guys get to feel that now. Like right now. But you're so busy looking for it, waiting for it, instead of tapping in. Like we were talking about yesterday, you've got to tap in. Think of a moment where you felt confident. Tap into that and you'll start feeling it, right? It starts with your thoughts. Start thinking about it. When do you feel effortlessness? When do you feel freedom? What would carrying yourself with no fucks to give feel like? Like close your eyes and feel into it. Because then you're going to start moving like that and you're going to start behaving like that. What thoughts need a shift for you to become unleashed? What thoughts right now are you like, these can't come with me? I need more experience. She's better than me. Why would anyone buy from me? I hate my voice. What thoughts need a shift? Let me know in the chat. Bringing your awareness to the thoughts You're going to notice how much shit you put on yourself every day. Like you go to post, oh, it's not as good as her. Go to talk, oh, I hate my face, hate my voice. Go to sell, oh, no one's going to buy. Oh, I can't say that. Fear of judgment. Fear of what other people think. Carrying that when I know I don't need to. Saying I hope it will, thinking I need to start small, overthinking detail. Declare, trust, move. No, I hope. No, maybe one day. No, let's see what happens. Remember back in my journey when I decided to take it seriously and then my business 5x'd in the matter of 6 months because I just took it seriously and I just declared and I just started moving how I wanted to move. Overthinking, lack of self-belief. These are good. What behaviors need to shift for you to become unleashed? What actions can't come with you anymore? Is it that you're holding off your launch? Is it that you're not saying what you want to say in content? Is it that you go to post and then you don't want to fuck with the algorithm so you don't post when you could just post the damn thing? Is it that you're scrolling too much when you could actually be just getting in front of your audience? What behaviors need to shift for you to become unleashed and feel that feeling of like power? Do you keep saying you're going to go to the gym and then you don't? Get consistent in my life and then the overflow to my biz. Good, Brie. Any other behavior shifts that need to take place? Keep putting them in the chat, but I'm going to move forward. Yeah, can I say I'm guilty of all the mentioned behaviors? I've been consciously trying to shift these recently. Yep, you definitely can. And we get to play with this and unpack this. Outsourcing power versus taking control. When I was learning to drive, there are so many different scenarios you can think of outsourcing power, but this was the first one that came to mind when I wrote this down. When I was learning to drive, we were driving around, I was driving in a manual when I was learning and driving over these mountains. And when you're driving like up and down like crazy mountains, think if you're in this area, think like Macquarie Pass, going over like Kangaroo Valley, Berry, Kiama, like whatever. And going down and up this crazy mountain. And I remember my mum's partner was in the back and he said, take control of the car. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? It's like, what do you mean? I'm the one driving. And what I noticed was that I was sort of responding to the car and like sort of letting it drive me. Like I was doing the changes, but I was kind of like playing victim to the car. And as soon as he said, take control of the car, I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden I had this new level of confidence and I was like, wait, I'm in control, not the car. And all of a sudden I just got it. Like I just got it. And I just became a really good driver. So that was a really cool moment. Steaming milk as a barista. You put the wand in the freaking milk and you turn the thing on and it freaking goes everywhere when you start learning and you're like, holy shit, and you're trying to like whatever. I said the same thing. I said, take control of the machine. I was like, okay, I'm the one in control here. And all of a sudden, what it does is it takes your focus from like out here, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm in control. I'm doing the thing. Barista life can relate. And this is the same with all of this stuff that we're talking about on this call and all this stuff you guys have just mentioned. You can either outsource your power and play victim to something external of you and play the blame game, or you can take control. It's like the fear of judgment thing, right? The fear of judgment is outsourcing your power to someone else, because what that's doing is it's you saying your opinion's greater than mine. I'm going to put your opinion up here above my own. Imagine if you went, okay, cool, that's your opinion, this is my opinion. You wouldn't be so afraid of judgment, because what's so interesting is judgment has nothing to do with you. Firstly, we know that. It's got everything to do with them. It's the projection of the part of themselves that they're not willing to express. If it didn't trigger them, they wouldn't be commenting. And it's triggering them for a reason, because they're not willing to look at it. So that's the first part. The second part is, why do we make it so wrong that two people have different opinions? It's like as soon as someone else has a different opinion, all of a sudden you crumble. But imagine if you saw someone else with a different opinion and you just accepted that they had a different opinion. Like, that actually gets to exist. Because imagine if in your romantic relationship you're with someone and the minute they have a different opinion, you're like, oh, it's over, can't do this anymore, I'm out. Right? No. Conversations, like how boring would conversations be if everyone had the same opinion? And while I know judgment can sometimes be heavy and come from the wrong place, right? That's the projection. That's the part in them that they're not willing to look at. But the part where some people just have a different opinion, you just get to let them have their different opinion and then just drop it. Because for as long as you are placing their opinion above your own, you're making it mean that their opinion is greater than yours. And then you make it mean a whole bunch of shit. Oh my gosh, why did I say that? I just fucked up. I just put my foot in it. I shouldn't have said that. I'm wrong. What if you're not? What if you go, okay, cool. You get to take control. You're procrastinating, you get to take control. You're overthinking, you get to take control of your own mind. This is where I want you to just think, like, where are you outsourcing it instead of being like, I'm the one in charge? Instead of like taking the wheel and being like, I am the one driving this thing. Instead of taking the milk jug and being like, I'm in control. When I think of it, I think of a leopard whose eye is on their prey and they're like so dialed in, they're so laser focused, they're like, vroom. That's what you want to be like. You want to have audacity online and speak your truth, speak it, knowing that you're in control. The most powerful thing is when you take control of all of the bullshit. Because that's when everything changes really freaking fast. What I want you to be aware of is you're not scared of doing the thing, you're scared of the reaction. You're not scared of launching. You're scared of how people are going to react, whether they're going to buy or not. You're not scared of posting. You're scared of the judgment that's going to come your way. You're not scared of the thing itself. You're not scared of talking on camera. Talking on camera is holding your phone up and clicking a button. You're not scared of doing that action. You're scared of what comes after it. whether it's your reaction or someone else's reaction. But again, take control. You have control. The minute you outsource that power by going, oh, well, their reaction is going to dictate how I feel, well, that's your own decision. You've made a choice there. What I want you to think in this, and I want you to just write this one down or pop it in the chat as well if anything comes up. What would you do if you knew it would be accepted? Humans crave belonging. They crave love and acceptance. And what this question is going to do is it's going to reveal all of the parts where you're not fully going for it, where you're actually not all in, because you're scared that it's not going to be accepted. Would you be more authentically you? Would you be more silly, more loud, more playful, more bold, more sassy? Would you post more? Would you show up more? Would you launch your offer? Would you say the thing you want to say to your partner? What would you do if you knew that it would be accepted? It's not that you need the acceptance. It's not that when you do the thing, you must expect acceptance, and if it doesn't come, then you've made the wrong decision. But it's just thinking, what am I not saying right now? What am I not doing right now? In the fear that it's not going to be accepted. Because what have I just learnt to be okay when it's not accepted? Being able to hold being judged, being misinterpreted, being misunderstood, being able to hold all of that stuff, that's your next level in business. I'm telling you right now. You get to dictate it. You. No more outsourcing power. Take back the control today. I want you to jump in the chat if there's anything extra from what you guys have already said of what is truly holding you back from getting what you want. What's actually holding you back? And if it's already been said, just say done, as in already done, already written down, everything that is holding you back. It's the overthinking, it's the lack of self-belief, it's the fear of judgment, it's the overthinking, it's the what? What's truly holding you back? If there's anything extra, pop it in the chat. And if it's already been said, just say done. Done. Perfect. Done. Amazing. These are some of the things, and Brie, keep typing if you want to keep typing. Procrastination has been a huge conversation this week. Perfectionism, avoidance, distraction, all ego reactivity. Comparison, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, scarcity, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of success. These are the most common ones that just came to mind at the very start, but there's probably 400 more. The overthinking. This is the stuff that we need to look at. And I want to give you just a little example of how we get to play with this. What I want you to know is they aren't physical roadblocks. So often when people are like, I'm stuck, I'm like, are you stuck physically? Is there something external of you that is actually keeping you stuck? Because often it's this stuff. And what's really interesting is that all of this stuff you have control over. Playing victim because I've got other stuff going on, Brie. Yeah. Huge. You have control over all of this stuff. It's all up here. So imagine if you understood all of this stuff more. Imagine if you took your thing and you went, all right, let's actually see why this is playing out. Because so many people stop at this thing. They go, well, I'm just a perfectionist. Like, let's actually dive deeper. Well, I just got imposter syndrome. Okay, well, maybe there's a gap where your skills actually need to be upgraded. Like, people don't want to hear that stuff, and so they avoid it. People don't want to hear, hey, maybe you're actually playing a part in this whole thing. Maybe. Because it's 100% in your control. Every single one of these things. They are not physical. Which is cool because you have the power to change them. There's always a layer deeper than the issue that's actually being presented. Now, the reason we're looking at all of this stuff, I'm just giving you one example, but the reason we're looking at all of this is because this is the stuff for me that has unlocked my most unleashed self. When I learned more about the stuff that holds me back, that's what's actually made me unleashed. It hasn't been because I've created this perfect hook or because I've launched a certain offer or said a certain thing or posted more. It's because I've looked at what's going on up here. What I want you to know is there's a layer deeper than the issue that's being presented. So for example, someone will come and they'll say, I'm finding launching really hard. Like, I just don't get it. It's confusing. Like, it's just not happening. But actually, like, sure, maybe launching is hard. You need to learn the launching strategy. Totally. But then apart from that, it's like, well, I'm just procrastinating. Like, I haven't launched yet because I'm just so busy and I'm just a procrastinator. This has been a huge conversation in the mini mind. But you're procrastinating because you're scared that no one will buy. And so procrastination, your ego reactivity, is the perfect reaction to delay the ego being hurt. I'm scared that no one's going to buy. So to avoid having to launch and see the fact that no one's bought, your brain, your very smart brain, goes, let's distract myself. Let's just keep putting it off. But you've come to me being like, I'm finding launching really hard. Or I know how to launch, but it feels hard. Or I'm holding off because blah, blah. And you get to apply this for all of the things that we spoke about. Every mindset thing, there's often a layer or two deeper. Not 10, not 100, just one or two. If we think like my ego being hurt, right? Your ego wants to protect who you believe you are. I don't want to go into all of this because we'll be here for like, it's a whole course in itself. But I want you to start thinking about the fact that these things are just a little bit more than how they're being presented. Your egos, just think of it as this part of your brain, of your human, and it wants to protect who you believe you are. So what you've created in the story of no one's going to buy, it's like, well, if no one buys, then I'm unsuccessful. I'm not as good as I say I am. I'm a failure. I'm unworthy. This could be the same as I don't want to post because no one's going to buy. Your ego wants to protect you, as in it wants to keep everything the same. You're successful, you're great, you're good at what you do, you're worthy. If launching and no one buying is going against that, you're going to want to avoid that. It wants to avoid pain and seek pleasure. If no one buys, that's going to feel pretty shit. So your brain is like, let's not go there. So what do? Instead? You procrastinate. This is the same with avoidance, distraction, perfectionism. We all have our thing. So what I want you to think is, what story have you created around number one? What's going to happen when you actually do the thing? Post, launch, sell, whatever it is that you're doing. What story have you created around what's going to happen? Because if you think no one's going to buy, your brain's going to want to avoid that. No one buying looks like shit. Right? What are you going to make that mean? Well, if no one buys, because that's what's going to happen. I'm going to launch this thing. I'm going to post this thing. No one's going to buy. What are you making that mean? Well, if no one buys, then I suck. I'm unsuccessful. I'm unworthy. That doesn't feel good. Your brain wants to avoid pain and seek pleasure. It's going to avoid that. Oh, but I'm just confused about content. Are you confused about content? We can look at the strategy. Or are you actually just fearing what's gonna come when you actually post or say what you mean or say what you want or start reaching those new higher paying clients? It's also the unwillingness to do what's required when you're trying to avoid something. Because in all of these things, right? Playing victim, overthinking, lack of self-belief, like all of this stuff, a lot of it is the unwillingness to actually just do what's required. Having flopped launches or posts or products, investing in the mentor to upgrade my skills, front-facing content, building a hot audience, experimenting. People want to have all of the good stuff and be unleashed and make all the money and have all the clients. But if you're not willing to do all of the groundwork, it's not going to come. And all this stuff is doing is it's helping you avoid doing what's required. Think back to my story over the years. There's been so many moments where I've just had to do what I had to do. Whether it's finding a job, finding a home, launching the second business, growing both businesses, destroying both businesses, holding a huge dip in my life to make room for something better. I was like, you know what? I'm just willing and I'm in control. So I'm going to do the thing. I'm just going to do it. It's a choice. You're in control and you get to do what's required. Put yes in the chat if you're like, from this point forward, I'm going to learn about all of this stuff. And I'm also just going to do what's required. I'm going to stop avoiding the shit that I'm trying to avoid. The answers you seek are in the things you're avoiding. Yeah, no more avoidance. Declared, yes, good. Learn to hold it. Learn to hold it all. And every level is a new devil. There's always going to be more. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And I think that's the most successful business owner. It's the person, it's the woman who can hold it. Hold the judgment. Hold the flopped launch. Hold the zero engagement. Hold people misunderstanding you. Just hold it. At one point, I had to. I had no other choice. I had to hold it. I was like, this is a fucking lot, but here I am. I'm just going to learn to hold it. And then you do. And that's when you become unleashed. Right? Unleashed has this beautiful duality of celebration and triumph and like holy fucking shit power. But unleashed also has this other part of grit and resilience and like, this is a lot. But on the other side, it's like the best feeling in the world, because now you're looking in the mirror at a different person and you look back at what was once your problems and you laugh at them. They become laughable. Like the problems you have right now in business, in life, one day you might be laughing at them being like, oh my God, I couldn't even do that. Like I couldn't even hold that, because you've grown so much. And that's existence. That's rebirth. That's growth. That's what it is. So learn to hold it. The common theme in all of this is it all depends on you. You're in control. You must hold it. You must do what's required of you. There's nothing external of you. You have to take ownership for the results that you have right now. Everything you've done up until this point has gotten you the reality that you're living right now. The business that you have, the brand that you have, the clients that you have, the money that you have, the relationships that you have, the house that you live in. You have to take ownership for it, because that's what I had to do. I was like, this is fucked. This is actually cooked. But I have a choice right now. I either play victim for the rest of my life, I get an average job, I complain 24/7, and then I die one day, or I take ownership and I go, I know exactly what I want, vision, feminine intuition. I'm taking ownership, I'm declaring, I'm trusting, I'm moving. I want you to bet on yourself. Like you've never bet on yourself before. Because if you trust that no matter what happens, you're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep trying, try something different and try something new and pick yourself up again and pick yourself up again and fight all of the challenges again and hold it again and cry again and crumble again and rebirth again. And you're going to keep going. You get to trust that it's all going to happen. It's all going to fall into place. Remember, it's already done. You've got this powerful thing in you called feminine intuition. You're doing what's required. You're taking action, you're taking ownership, you're taking control, you've got support, and you bet on yourself. And you back yourself. Where you're like, you know what, whatever happens, I've got me. That's the most powerful position you can be in. I've got me. You're not dependent on anything or anyone external of you. Put a yes in the chat if you're going to put a bet on yourself. If you're going to back yourself from here on out, no matter what happens. Put a yes in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Before we move forward, how are we feeling? Jump in the chat. How are we feeling? Woman unleashed. Empowered. Juicy. Mindset shift. Huge. I have something to share with you all that I'm so excited about. I want you to put in the chat. What would it feel like to take full ownership of your life and remove everything that's blocking your dreams? What would it feel like to take full ownership of your life? The responsibility and accountability, like Bree said. And remove, like actually get rid of everything, every limiting thing that's currently blocking your dreams. Put it in the chat. What's that feeling? Because right now I know that you feel some things are shifting. And you feel empowered and you feel ready to move, but you know that there's those mindset things that you already mentioned that are still up here, that are still going to be playing out. it would be a feeling of freedom and power, Bree said. Freedom and power. Ease, Trin said. Everything is going to come to me effortlessly and sooner than imagined. Time collapse. Quantum leap. There is nothing more dangerous than a woman who feels her own power. She doesn't just know it, she feels it. There's a difference. One person can know that they have the ability to be powerful, but they still play life on autopilot, unaware of the fact that they are their biggest block in business. The other person, she feels it. Like this roar that's inside her. Like this rumbling that's like vibrating in her bones. She feels it. Because I know that every one of you who is listening to this, I know that you're powerful. But how often do you feel it? Deep in your soul. I want to introduce you to a space that is my heart and soul on a platter. It is a complete embodiment of my whole journey, my whole life, my business, and the way that I move behind the scenes, the way that I see things. And you guys are the first to see this, and I'm so excited. Welcome to She is Limitless. Embody the archetype of the limitless female founder. This is what it looks like. It looks like becoming the woman who can achieve anything she wants. Anything. Even if right now it feels out of reach, anything. You get to build a life on your terms, leading from the front. No more following, no more victim, no more outsourcing power. You're leading from the front. You get to become deeply fulfilled. Brain, brand, body, all of the things. What it looks like is strengthening the 7 character traits to move like the 1% move. What this is going to look like is shifting beliefs and identity to step into the multi 6, 7, 8, 9, 100 billion figure version of you. Upgrading your leadership to move more like the one. Increasing your frequency, your vibration to attract wealth and dream clients. And taking intentional, aligned action to get what you want. This isn't I'm going to cross my fingers, say some affirmations in the mirror, and journal, and everything will come. This is a deepening of the human that you are. The way that you move, the way that you think. Put a yes in the chat each time one of these feel a little bit familiar. Momentum feels stagnant and you feel this disconnect from your business. Like you're in it, you're doing the things, you're posting the stuff, you're selling the stuff, but you're like, there's just this like, I don't know, there's just this disconnect. There's some kind of thing. I'm not, it's not like my soul. It's just like there's something there that needs to be strengthened. You feel capped by a glass ceiling and you're doubting if your big dreams could really happen. right? It's one thing, yes, yes, yes. It's one thing to be like, I want this thing, I want this dream. It's another thing to really know, really trust that it's going to happen. But right now, you feel capped. You're like, there's this glass ceiling, there's this roadblock, this bottleneck that's in the way. You crumble easily when challenges are thrown your way. Someone ghosts you, someone doesn't sign, someone defaults on a payment, you get a complaint, you get sent to court, something falls apart, a team member does something wrong, you get hate on the internet, you lose money on something, someone doesn't pay you, you crumble easily. Or as soon as that happens, it's just like, you just fall apart. And there's so much honesty that needs to be had within these things. Because there's moments in my life and my business where I'm like, I'm Superwoman. And then something happens and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And it's a really cool moment for me to be like, that needs to be strengthened, right? And that's the cool part about this. It's not about being perfect. There's no end goal. There's no end thing where you're like, I'm good. It's like a refinement. It's the evolution. It's the creation of your being. You feel stuck at the same level and you know that you could be moving bigger, but there's fear. And we found a lot of that within this call. Keep putting yeses in the chat as these resonate with you. You need clarity on where you're going and what that looks like. Yes, 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 literally yes. You just want more clarity. And you just want more like, more oomph. You want to stand out in your industry, but it feels saturated. It feels hard. You feel swallowed by your industry. But you're like, I really want to stand out. Like I actually, not even like stand out with everyone, but I kind of just want to like go over here. And you feel like you're not leading your clients, but they're kind of leading you. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of yeses in the chat. This is perfect. Okay, this is what it looks like. She is Limitless starts on September 2nd currently, penciled for September 2nd. Any changes, you guys will know about it. 8 weeks together. I tossed and turned with the format of this. 8 weeks feels good. It feels juicy because I want you to really immerse yourself within all 7 character traits. And I want you to have awareness around the way that you're moving and the way that you're being. We'll also have 7 live weekly trainings. Every single week we'll be together. We'll have a live hot seat call as well. I might even throw more in there if I see that we need more. And there'll also be a Telegram group chat for breakthroughs and weekly Q&As with yours truly. Because I don't just want to have the calls and then say, see you next week. I want to hear how things are integrating with you, and we'll have a weekly Q&A opportunity in there as well. Because this stuff, it goes deeper. And when you're committed to really looking at the way that you're moving behind the scenes, a lot of stuff comes up. And you get to dissolve so much, have some massive breakthroughs, and by the end of the 8 weeks, you're going to be a different human. I put this image here because I like what it represents in my mind. When I saw it, I thought, Ace, it feels like number 1. It feels like the 1%. It feels like the one of one, the only one. I like that it's cards because it's like you're in the game. You're not just on the sidelines anymore. You're actually in the game playing. And I like the heart because this is what it's all about. It's the human. It's the heart. It's your soul. And I think that's really important. Bonuses when you guys get to join. Let me see. No, I can't do that. Bonuses. You're going to have 2 mindset masterclasses. Momentum method and frequency masterclass. These are 2 incredible activations where you get to learn more about mindset. These are amazing classes. You'll also get 1 month for free inside Social Sales Club. I know a few of you are in there already. You'll be able to tell all the others how incredible it is. You'll be removed after that month, but of course you can just sign up as a paid member inside there. The Social Sales Club is going to give you all of the strategy in terms of socials, selling, brand, all of the things. The reason I put these together is because within She is Limitless, we're going to be looking at the mindset, the human, the behavior, the way that you're moving. Pairing that with the strategy, talk about unleashed, talk about unstoppable. So in there, you're going to get all of the more so nitty gritty business strategy. She is Limitless is all about the human. The value of this space is $2,500 and probably well above that as well. $2,500. But I'm launching it at just $697. That's insane. Not just half price, only $697 with payment plans available. 8 weeks together. 8 live calls, hot seat, Q&As, 2 masterclasses, and a month inside Social Sales Club. You will not be the same human when you leave this space. I can promise you that much. But because you guys have joined this free event, because you are here, because you're committed to being here and learning about you and your human and your intuition, I'm granting you a little gift. If you join now within the next 72 hours, you're going to save $100. Then we're going to launch to the public and the price is going to increase. So for you, for the next 72 hours, it's only $597 with a 5-month payment plan available. Insane. So this is what you're getting. Put a yes in the chat, put a like, fuck yeah, I'm in, I cannot wait. If you guys are just like, this is insane. What you're going to be getting inside She is Limitless. 7 live weekly trainings, a live hot seat call, a Telegram group chat. The bonuses, you're going to have 2 mindset masterclasses, a month inside Social Sales Club, plus $100 off if you join within the next 72 hours. What I want to tell you is that full price is sitting around the $1,200 mark. I'm going to be selling this a lot over the coming weeks, of course. And I can promise you, you're going to be in there one way or another. So you may as well jump in now. What I want you to really just leave from this call in itself, and also knowing that She is Limitless is your next step. Just imagine feeling limitless from within. Not just seeing it externally, but actually feeling truly unstoppable. Like, imagine feeling that. Because I want to tell you, I got all the money at one point. I went from $0, zero, no house, no job, no freaking life, to only a few years later, having 2 multi-6-figure brands, seeing 100K in my bank for the first time ever, buying my first home, doing all of the things. But I can promise you, nothing has felt more like freedom than feeling it internally within my own body, within my own bones, and trusting in the way that I move. Because all of the external stuff can be taken away. And I chose that. Like, I took away the warehouse, I took away the team, I took away the status, I took away the business, I took away the constant stream of income. I took it all away because I was like, wow, that didn't last for as long as I thought it would. Because I was like, I want to actually just feel unleashed and unstoppable from within, like on my own, not because some money's telling me that I'm successful, not because I'm getting some comments telling me that I'm great or some engagement or some client signing. Like that stuff's cool and amazing and incredible. It is. I promise it is. But when you can look in the mirror and say, I've got me, you're a motherfucking weapon, that's a whole nother level. No one can take that away from you. No one. Right? You're in control. You're the human who's driving this ship. Imagine if you learnt more about the human. Like imagine what you could do in 8 weeks together. It's going to be insane. This is epic value, Lil. You know I love a good group space. That's pretty crazy. Love this. Amazing. She is limitless. Doors are officially opened. You will receive or potentially have already received an email with the link in there with the discount code as well. Any questions about the space, please jump into my DMs on Instagram @_TheLilyHomes. Any problems with the link, the discount, please let me know as well. You have 72 hours to jump in there. Then we'll be launching to public at $697, and then price is going to increase up to about the $1,200 mark. So $500 is insane. Payment plans are available. I just cannot wait to see who you are on the other side of this. Like if this is an hour and a bit together, imagine what we can do in 8 weeks together. Wild, crazy, insane. Okay, how are you girls feeling? Who's jumping into the space? Give me some final takeaways, some anything, and then I'm going to love you and leave you. I know this call has been a nice, big and juicy one, but we talked about some incredible things, and I just cannot believe my baby is out in the world. This is really exciting. She is limitless. It's been this thing that I've been trying to articulate for a really long time, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. It's going to be huge. Thank you for offering us so much value in the last 2 days. You are so welcome, Brie. So welcome. I am in. Thank you for offering the payment plan. Yay, you are so welcome. Once you guys are in as well, I want you to DM me on Instagram and we get to celebrate. Like, let me know you're in. Let's just freaking celebrate, because this isn't just like I'm in, let's come and learn some strategy. This is you saying I'm in, like this is for you. Like go and look in the mirror and be like, holy shit, I've just invested in me. I've said yes to me. Huge. You're incredible. I love being in your world and space. I can't wait. Nikita, I love you so much. All right, I'm gonna stop my share. Thank you so much. I love you. I will chat to you in emails. I chat to you on Instagram. I'll upload the replay. Have the most beautiful day. And remember, you're in control.